Once again, it's a privilege to be welcomed into your homes. Today we are reading from 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 6 to 9, then continue from chapter 19, verse 1 to 7. When David and Saul approached on David's return after slaying the Philistine, women came out from each of the cities of Israel to meet Saul, singing and dancing with tambourines, joyful songs, and sistrum. The women played and sang. Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. Saul was very angry and resentful of the song, for he thought, they give David 10,000s, but only thousands to me. All that remains for him is the kingship. And from that day on, Saul was jealous of David. Saul discussed his intention of killing David with his son Jonathan and with all his servants. But Saul's son Jonathan, who was very fond of David, told him, my father Saul is trying to kill you. Therefore, please be on your guard tomorrow morning. Get out of sight and remain in hiding. I, however, will go out and stand beside my father in the countryside where you are, and will speak to him about you. If I learn anything, I will let you know. Jonathan then spoke well of David to his father Saul, saying to him, let not your majesty sin against his servant David, for he has committed no offense against you, but has helped you very much by his deeds. When he took his life in his hands and slew the Philistine, and the Lord brought about a great victory for all Israel through him, you were glad to see it. Why then should you become guilty of shedding innocent blood by killing David without cause? Saul heeded Jonathan's plea and swore, as the Lord lives, he shall not be killed. So Jonathan summoned David and repeated the whole conversation to him. Jonathan then brought David to Saul, and David served him as before. The reading exposes one of the most tragic movements of the human heart, how admiration can quietly turn into jealousy, and jealousy into destruction. At first, Saul is Israel's king, anointed and chosen by God. David, meanwhile, is only a young servant, faithful, victorious, and humble. Yet the songs of the women became the turning point. What should have been a moment of shared joy becomes for Saul a moment of deep insecurity. He does not rejoice in David's success. He measures it against his own worth. From that day on, Saul kept a jealous eye on David. Jealousy is not merely emotion. It is a lens that distorts reality. Saul no longer sees David as a loyal servant, but as a rival. When identity is rooted in comparison rather than calling, the success of others feels like a threat to our own. Saul's jealousy matures into open hostility. He commands Jonathan and his servants to kill David. What began as an inner resentment now becomes an outward sin. This is a sober reminder. Unchecked envy does not stay hidden. It eventually seeks expression. Yet in contrast stands Jonathan, bound to David in covenant friendship. Jonathan risked his own position and safety to speak truth to his father. He models courageous loyalty and godly discernment. He refuses to participate in injustice, even when it is sanctioned by authority. His intercession saves David, at least for a time, and restrains Saul from immediate bloodshed. The passage invites us to ask several questions. 1. How do I respond when others are praised more than I am? 2. Do I allow comparison to poison gratitude? 3. Am I, like Jonathan, willing to defend what is right even when it costs me? Dear friends, we are encouraged to guard our hearts. The seeds of envy, if not surrendered to God, can grow into bitterness and violence. But hearts anchored in trust, like Jonathan's, become an instrument of peace, courage, and fidelity to God's purposes. Shalom. Peace.